with a profound sense of the solemn and even tragical character of the step I am taking and of the grave responsibilities which it involves, but in unhesitating obedience to what I deem my constitutional duty, I advise that the Congress declare the recent course of the Imperial German government to be in fact nothing less than war against the government and people of the United States, that it formally accept the status of belligerent which has thus been thrust upon it, and that it take immediate steps not only to put the country in a more thorough state of defense, but also to exert all its powers and employ all its resources to bring the government of the German Empire to terms and end the war. As these words were addressed to the U.S. Congress in 1917, the Great War, or more commonly known as World War I, took a large turning point that favored the Allies. But what exactly led to this event? And did it really cause the largest neutral during the time to go to war? We will be looking at these facts today and deciding whether it proved a direct cause to Wilson's declaration of war. The event to be looked at today will be when Wilson announced the arming of merchant ships by executive order. But to get a better understanding, we must first go over the events that led to this possible cause. On the 24th of March, 1916, German submarine, or U-boat, UB-29, sunk French steamer Sussex, resulting in 80 casualties, 25 being American. On April 19th of that same year, American President Woodrow Wilson reacted, and without gratitude, to the Sussex's sinking, threatening to sever relations with Germany and warning the Germans of war against America unless they did not suspend their unrestricted submarine warfare. 45 days later, Germany promises to not sink boats without warning or saving lives unless they showed resistance or tried to escape. On October 15th, Kaiser Wilhelm II could not hold his submarines any longer, and he continued submarine warfare under so-called search and destroy rules, believing that he could control the U-boats and keep them in the war without upsetting the U.S. However, there was only a matter of time until things went bad, and Germany announced that they would resume unrestricted submarine warfare on the last day of the first month in 1917, breaking their promise to the U.S. Chancellor Theobald von Bethmann-Hollweg of Germany attempted to give reason to America to the return of the unfair strategy, writing to the New York Times, "I have always proceeded from the standpoint of whether U-boat war would bring us nearer victorious peace or not. Every means, I said in March, that was calculated to shorten the war constitutes the most humane policy to follow. When the most ruthless methods are considered best calculated to lead us to victory, and swift victory, I said, then they must be employed." But the U.S. did not accept this, and on February 3, 1917, German-American relations were severed. But on February 24th, the U.S. found the truth by an intercepted telegram written by Arthur Zimmerman, German ambassador to Mexico. Today, the infamous note known as the Zimmerman Telegraph stated that Mexico would tell the president that the unrestricted warfare would compel England to make peace, and if they should not succeed, they will make war and peace together, as well as gain lost territory from Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. Angered by Germany, Wilson requested from Congress authority to arm merchant ships to protect and defend them from U-boat submarines that terrorized the water. After a period of thorough consultation by the elected leaders of America, the Senate passed the bill. Unlike the United States Senate, however, the House of Representatives did not pass it. Wilson, however, knew he could not send out merchant boats unarmed with German submarines ready to fire. On the 12th of March, 17 years in the 20th century, Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States of America, announced the arming of American merchant ships by executive order, which is a legally binding order given by the President to federal agencies, most of the time, and in this case, contrary to the opinion of Congress. Wilson believed that the boats required guns on deck for their own safety from dangers of the water, no matter if Congress approved or not. But the question is, was it a main leading factor that contributed to America's entry into World War I? Looking back at the given information, it seems as if Wilson and the arming of merchant ships was a main leading factor that proved the United States showed favor to supporting and joining the Allied powers over the Central Powers. After much research and studying, the seemingly largest effects on the USA's major entry were Germany's actions and America's reactions, such as the sinking of the Sussex and Wilson threatening Kaiser Wilhelm to shatter the relationship between Germany. Wilson requesting to arm ships was a reaction to all previous events of German U-boats and submarines. Many major events led to Woodrow Wilson's executive order on March 12th, and this act led to him ultimately deciding that his country could not stay away from the war any longer, and followed to a declaration of war against Germany and the German people.